Hello there and welcome. I'm Ole Brøgger, and if you're new here, I really hope I'll earn your subscription today. In this video, I will have a look at notebooks. Usually, I use this type of notebooks for my players, and they're pretty good at taking notes in. But I want to make them a bit more interesting. So, the friendly marketing department where I work was so nice to give me a stack of these hardcover notebooks. They're a bit better quality, and the plan is I want to attach some leather to them. I'm not into bookbinding or anything, so I've never done this before, but I think it should be pretty easy to glue some leather on top of it and make some interesting design on them. So why don't we get started? This is a learning experience for me. I've never tried gluing leather on anything before. I'll start making a prototype and see how it goes. I found this nice piece of leather. I think I'll just try to cut it to size and match it to this book. I'll cut the leather piece a bit larger than the book, so I can flip the sides around the cover. I will put the leather on a piece of baking paper, because I am going to use some spray adhesive. The spray adhesive is very sticky, but I think it will work perfectly to glue on the leather. I put the book in the middle of the piece of leather, then I'm just hoping for the best that it will stick on the cover. And it works, but it is very sticky, and getting it off my fingers will only work with some isopropyl alcohol. So let's get this piece of paper away. There was a tiny bit of overspray of glue, so to prevent the pages from sticking together, put a piece of baking paper in between the cover and the pages. I also needed to wrap the leather around the top and bottom of the cover, and I did a lot of mistakes here, and people who know stuff about bookbinding will probably shake their head and say, oh my god, he's doing stupid stuff. But I have no experience of doing this, so this is just a trial and error. And I'm just trying to improve my skills. To cover up all the ugly corners, I bought these retro metal book corners on Amazon. And it's a pretty soft metal, but I think it will do the job and make it look a bit nicer. I really had some trouble making the top and bottom spine of the book. I couldn't wrap the leather properly around it, but I think it turned out okay, but I don't know if there is any good method. There was not much room for putting the leather around the top and bottom. This seems to be okay. Now I'll have to make an interesting design to laser engrave on the cover of the book. I needed something that would look cool and was relevant to Dungeons & Dragons. I thought maybe I should try the Copilot from Microsoft, and it came up with some pretty nice results. I really love this picture, and I think I will put it on the cover of my book. I took the image and inverted the colors, so it was only the black areas that would be laser engraved. I also added some text. And here we are, ready to laser engrave. After a couple of test runs on a piece of leather, I finally found the right adjustment for the laser. It took about 15 minutes to engrave the whole image. To clean up the leather, I used some leather balm. I think this contains mostly beeswax, but it will make it nice and shiny. I think I should have called it done here, but then I got this stupid idea of putting gold in all the recesses of the engraving. And I don't think it turned out pretty good. It is okay, but I shouldn't have done this. I started all over again, and this time with a piece of black leather. I did almost the same procedure as I did on the previous book, but this time I had a bit more experience, so it went a bit faster. And there was a couple of do's and don'ts I prevented in this process. I also found out that if I made the leather wet before I was engraving it, it wouldn't get as burned as before. I also put some blue tape on where the text was, so I could easily put in some gold, but only this time in the text. This was also a lot easier to clean up, and I think it looked great. And now I was hooked. I started to cut up some more leather in different colors, and I made a new design for player books. This was quite a learning experience for me. I made these 2 Dungeon Master notebooks and 5 player handbooks. And if some of you noticed, I made a typo. I spelled campaign wrong. I sent a couple of pictures of these books to a friend of mine, and he noticed immediately that I spelled campaign wrong. So I had to do it over. I only fixed it on these 2 books and spelled campaign right. I also experimented with inverting the colors here on the logo. It depends on what color the leather has, if it's going to be light or dark in the background. The only thing that annoys me is I had some problems with the spine here in the top and the bottom. I don't think I could make it look correct. If you have any ideas of how I could fix this, or if I did something terribly wrong, please leave a comment below. This is it for now, and if you think I've earned it, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the future. I will go back to making some more terrain, which I know I can do better than binding books, and that's what we're going to look at in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this to the end, and I'll see you soon.